Episode of Reality with the King. Alexis Jansen and I are here to recap the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And listen, she and I are dancing. We're doing our TikTok dances because after a very slow start to the season, I feel like things are finally hitting up. And Alexis, I am thrilled. Is Alexis, wait, are you
I called
frozen,
all my
Alexis?
girlfriends after this and I said, if you jump on board, because now we are talking. It's good. Okay. It's
It's
good.
such a
It's good stuff.
good It's such a good episode, and I cannot wait to get into it with you.
Let's do
Um,
it.
so look, first thing first, we got to get into Erica Jane meeting with Rachel Zoe. And look, what would this season be without the manifesting money queen Amanda? Because she literally is the talk of the town. So, as we talked about in last week's episode, Rachel Zoe had a dinner. Dorit was confronting Amanda based on things she was told. She said about, talking about her estranged husband, PK. Amanda tells her, let's not do this right now. I'm grieving the loss of my son today. He passed away. The anniversary, excuse me, of his death is today. Things went awkward. Erica and Rachel start talking about it. And look, instead of which I was like, this reminds me of when the new girl gets hazed, although Rachel Zoe's a new girl, but I'll get to my theory about why Rachel Zoe is not getting hazed in the same fashion I feel Amanda is in, but Alexis, we'll get your thoughts. They're talking about her and they're calling her performative based on an example of her being on the phone, sandwich in the middle in what we call the bitch seat, and she's handling business. And I thought that was like not fair.
I totally disagree. I, the entire time she's on the phone, I'm cringing. And you know what? I even have an example from Orange County. Okay. I was in a car with Vicky Gunvalson getting schooled. So my ringer was on. Vicky looks at me and is like, turn that off. We are in a car together. Like, put it on silent. And it was one of my first times I was filming or whatever. And I got the point right away. But like, if I was in the car sandwiched in between those two women, I would not be talking my business life. I would not. I don't understand it. I do think it was performative and awkward and weird. And I don't know how she couldn't read the room that the other two ladies were sitting there eye rolling her the whole time. Like, I would feel their energy. If she's such a manifester, I would have manifested and felt that energy being like, okay, these girls do not like this phone call. Sorry, Carlos. Once again, we agree to disagree.
No, we listen, we can't. I'll say this, and maybe this is me projecting based upon, me and my life. Listen, when I'm out and about with my friends who I love, we have a great time, I oftentimes am on the phone and handling business. Now, look, I do feel like, and this is no disrespect to Erica Jane, who I love, Amanda has a business.
So does Erica Jane. She performs on stage. You don't think she has to handle stuff?
She has Mikey and other people to handle stuff. And I
Okay.
love Erica,
Well,
for the record.
to push you a little further. So you feel like I'm sorry, Amanda's phone call was completely and totally like proper. Like you did not get any cringeworthiness out of that entire scene, is what you're saying. Because I will hold on, let me finish this one point though. I just thought of something else. I will make a phone call about business, about my kids in front of my any whoever I'm with if I need to. But at the point that it gets to where it's like everything Erica was or Amanda was talking about, I would excuse myself and walk away, or I would say, I'll call you back in a few minutes. And I would end the phone call and call back. I mean, it was And I know that they love to, they did the spirals with Me Too. I know that they love to cut and put like boom, boom, boom and make it look like she was on the phone for an hour when she might have been on the phone for 5 minutes. It was still a lot. It was still a lot of different conversations and a lot of different topics that it's like, okay, one phone call I get, but I don't know. I'm intrigued that you think it was totally fine.
No, the thing is this. There are traveling in Sedona, and that's not like a trip where you get around for like 15 minutes. So it's presumably the hour plus long drive. There are moments where she has to handle business. So listen, do I think she's performative? For sure. I'm not saying that. I think in that moment she was warranted as a businesswoman handling business because she is operating her own business. Now, Rachel and Erica, they do have businesses. However, what we have seen, right, on the show, they have a massive team. So they don't have to, based on what I've seen, handle a lot of things that comes head on because rightfully so, they do have a great team around them. But look, one of the things that you and I are going to disagree with, I already know.
Okay, you preface it with that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Rachel Zoe thinks that Amanda boasts a lot about her work. And she made the reference that of all of the businesses and all the accomplishments and all the accolades she has, she doesn't boast about her work. And as somebody who watched the Rachel Zoe project, right? Um, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Now, and listen, not saying she did it to the degree that Amanda's doing, but I watched the Rachel's Up project, and Rachel had no problem telling motherfuckers what she was wearing, how she changed the game with Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton and all these it girls. So my thing is, Rachel Zoe did it when she had her own show, rightfully so. And I think Amanda's new, and I think Amanda just wants the girls to know what she does.
Well, and to take it further, I've got okay, as a producer, you also know that Rachel, Erica, every cast member could possibly be talking about their businesses and their and boasting in some way that doesn't make it and it's on the cutting room floor because they're trying to point this out about Erica. So coming from a producer's aspect, that could also be something. And you're right. Like I think all the women probably talk about their businesses and talk about their stage performances in Erica's case and talk, I think they all do because that's your life. You do talk about what you do behind the scenes. And it is a very possible thought that they could be cutting everything to make it stand out that this is Amanda's persona for this season to bring her different, to make her a character that is, loved and hated at the same time to drive the ratings. So there
Hmm.
you go.
Yeah, yeah. And look, she is standing out. Now, look, Rachel Zoe thinks she's standing out because she says she looks like an airline attendant from the 60s.
Where did she come up with that? That's tough. I mean, that's good. I laughed. Did you laugh? You had to laugh because you're
Oh,
laughing
I
now.
hollered. I hollered. That's why I wrote that in my notes. I thought that was extremely funny, and the accuracy was there. No, I thought Rachel Zoe did her big one with that comparison. I thought that was super duper funny.
Yeah, it's good material.
So then we see Amanda, she's talking to Kyle. They're hanging out, and she mentions Dorit. So we now get to see Amanda's perspective after the dinner party. And she says that Dorit pretty much is not a classy woman, and that's not how classy women act, based on the fact that she did disrespect her son, the anniversary of her death. Kyle tried to defend her, which I thought was nice. But Amanda, who I agree with, she said yes, but after she found out, I still asked her to stop. And she would not stop. And she kept going. So I am definitely on Amanda's side when it comes to, I find it quite interesting that none of these girls, none of them, are chastising Dorit for what she did. and I felt like that was anybody else they would have.
I agree with you. And I know Dorit did, Dorit did point out that Amanda did come back after Amanda said, it's the, anniversary of my son, Zion. I don't want to speak about this anymore. Amanda did come back and say, and then tried to pull a little bit more of Dorit out of the conversation where Amanda probably should have just shut at that point and been like, that's it. However, it doesn't matter. Nothing trumps the fact that that was the anniversary of a baby's death. I'm sorry. Nothing can trump that. It does not matter what Amanda did. She could have pulled out a machete at that point and been like, totally crazy. And the women just need to bow down and go, I'm so sorry. Because to lose a kid is the worst pain I think anyone can have. So it should have just stopped. And I don't understand why all the women sat around and not one person stood up and said, or just even quietly said, let's give Amanda the moment and just a design, like I said last week, except for the fact that Amanda's the newbie and they all don't like her a ton. They're trying to find a reason not to, which Amanda's giving them, some good stuff to go on. And I think we're just gonna have to see it play out. And who knows, like if Amanda comes back next season, I think she'll be liked. I think people are going to find reasons to like her because she is dynamic. She does have something different than all the other women with her personality. So I think give her a chance. I keep going back and forth though. I am probably with the raindrops on this. I keep going back and forth. Do I like her or not? Is she rubbing me wrong or not? Is she cool or not? Is she braggadocious or not? Like I have all of these thoughts that I go through with Amanda.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. Listen, I think she's keeping the lights on this season. She's providing something very interesting, and I like her a great deal. So far. So far, I do. So far, I do. So, which we got to get to the moment
Oh God.
where, listen, this had to be the most awkward moment, I think, this whole season. And shout out to the producers if they orchestrated it. I'm not sure. But Dorit, Kyle, Bose, and Bo's friend, they decided to have a girls' lunch. And Dorit talks to Kyle about Mauricio. And she asked Kyle plainly if there's any sort of room for a reconciliation with Mauricio. And before Kyle could even answer, Mauricio pops up out of nowhere. And no, Alexis, I literally jumped in my chair like I was watching a scary movie where the black girl gets killed first. So, Bose, watch out. And I freaked out.
Well, because it's like no sooner than, by the way, let's go back to the fact that Alexis called out, talking to myself in third person. Yes, I am. Called out a couple of our podcasts ago that there is room for reconciliation and Kyle is manifesting it and wants it. And you can tell more of this episode. But the fact that they're sitting there talking about him and the moment that he walks up is when Dorit is saying the word reconciliate. Oh, hi. It's like, she couldn't even finish the shun, reconciliation. She couldn't finish it because there's Mauricio. And Kyle, I love the way Kyle handled it. She's like, oh, well hi there. Like it was just, you can't write that. That was not acting. That was either really greatly produced or like Kyle said, I don't know if you watched the Watch What Happens Live, but let me fill everybody in. Kyle was on Watch What Happens Live with Kathy Hilton and Paris right after this episode. So it's the best. It's one of the best Watch What Happens Live ever. It's just epic. Anyway, you got to watch it. But
Okay.
Kyle says on that, wait, where was I going with that? Something about Mauricio. Oh, so they even, are still talking on Watch What Happens Live about Kyle. Do you, have you thought about filing it yet? Or this, like, it's forever been in my mind that there's a place that Mauricio and Kyle could end up back together once they both get their, early 20s out of their 50-year-old bodies.
So is she saying
Boobs.
that did she intimate on Watch What Happens Live that there's a possibility or there isn't?
She just, you can still see it in her eyes that she is missing him in my mind. And I hope that she never, gets mad at me for what I'm saying. But you can still see it in her eyes. But then she also said they still haven't filed. So why are you separated for years or a couple? It's been what, 2 years? I don't know. Lizzie can help us, but there's been a couple years now, and you're not signing the ink. There's a reason in the back of your mind.
What do you think about that, and what do you make of it? Because even when Dorit was asking Kyle, like, look, when you saw Mauricio kiss another woman, did she want to file? Because that's what made Dorit file when she saw this woman kiss PK. And Kyle said, of course, she thought about it, but to your point, she hasn't done it. Mauricio late in the episode, not, no, I think in that scene mentioned, I'm sorry, yeah, in that scene, that he has never thought about filing. And in that moment, Alexis, I said,
Like,
I think was, well, look, I think this. Alexis Jansen may be onto something. What I do think is happening, though, I think, okay, our Lizzie note is they've been separated over 2 years, starting July of
hey,
2023.
I knew it was around 2 years. I knew. I just don't know why. In my mind, I just thought it's got to be around 2 years. So there's something to that. Subconsciously, to not want to sign on the ink or sign ink on the paper, but
Mhm.
out gallivanting with other men and women and women and women and more women. It's like, okay, there's something to this. There's something to it, Carlos. And I'm the optimistic here, and I love love. So I'm praying that they do get back together because they are so flipping cute together.
Listen, I will say this. They are each other's soulmate.
Mm,
They are. It is sort of when a couple have been together for so long, and guys don't be grossed out by this. They sort of operate as siblings. And when I say siblings, I mean they just have this natural chemistry where they finish each other's sentences. They know a lot about each other. And that's what they gave me. I think this is what's happening. This is my opinion. Hey, Tamara, I think what's happening is they've been together for so long that they both are in a situation where they are not the same people when they first met. They were not financially stable when they first met. They truly fell in love with each other, and together they grew this business to be a pretty much a $1 billion business, right? And on top of that, they're both famous, right?
and they're both hot.
Oh, beyond, like beyond. And I think after being together for so long and experiencing wealth and fame and sexiness, right?
And family, a lot of kids.
Yeah, I think was driving them towards experimenting with other people is because they both are existing in their hotness, their money, their fame, and they want to be able to explore what it is like to be that. It's sort of like, look, this being, this is your second marriage. You've always been a pretty girl. um, you know what it's like to be the hot girl, and you had your hot girl experience. And then you finally say, okay, I've done that. Let me settle down and get married because I lived my life. I think those two never lived their lives in this hotness, and they
Mhm.
both want to do it now. And I do think you're right that because of that, they'll get back together.
And you could not have said it more poetically, except to simply say, like I said, they're living their 20s in their 50s. They
Yes.
had their 20s back then and been doing all of this, which I was a college girl. I was out, having a blast, sowing my oats. Girls just want to have fun. They'd start that song as soon as my best friend and I walked in the bar because they'd be like,
Yes,
well,
Alexis.
we're in. Here we go, little midtown Missouri, Columbia, Missouri. We're putting the song on because the girls just walked in. I've already sowed my oats. I've already had all of it. Okay. Like, yeah. And that's what I've been quoting this from episode one when, I saw Kyle's eyes talk about him and the way he hugs her and the way he looks at her. Do not mistake that. He is having fun with all these young hot girls and acting 20, but Kyle is his soulmate. You are forever right.
Yeah.
So sorry, other pretty little youngins. For Mauricio, you don't stand a chance because she is the one. So yeah.
Yeah,
I,
no, 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 no. I
I
agree.
Carlos, if they get back together, I can't wait. We're gonna
No,
be
no.
you and I are gonna throw a party for them. That's what we're
Oh
gonna
yes, yes, yes. Sponsored by whatever deal Spencer gets us. So we will make that happen. Yes, 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 yes. I want to ask you this being a married woman. Um, okay, let's go back to your first marriage for the
Well,
sake
keep
of
let's keep it real so that we don't get yelled at by all of the people that know my history. I've been married 3 times. I don't count my first marriage just to keep it true here because I was so young. I didn't want to walk down the aisle. My dad looked at me during the wedding march because I was an organist was playing. I was dun 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 dun. It was the old school in a church, kind of like the old school marriage. Nothing like what my third marriage was. Anyway, he goes, "Honey, you don't have to do this." And I go, "But Daddy, all these people are here for me now." So I walked down the aisle. It was never meant to be. We divorced within a year and a half. I wish I would have done it sooner so I could get it annulled. So I have been married 3 times.
I didn't know this.
Yes, 3 times. From I was like 23 to 24 and a half or something like that. It was something like that. And then I met
Oh.
my second husband and married at 27. And then yeah, and now my third marriage to John is at 48. I was 48 when I married him.
Go ahead, girl. You did live.
Poor Kyle and Mauricio. I'm sorry, I did it all that way. Now you guys are doing it, and you're going to end up doing a second marriage to Mauricio. Renewing your vows in about 5 years. So there you go. Okay, what were you going to ask?
Well, I want to ask you this. Now, obviously, there's a difference, right? There's a difference between your second husband and how that divorce went. But the example that I wanted to offer was when Dorit, in front of Kyle, asked Mauricio for his phone number because she doesn't have it, which I thought that was very interesting because Kyle does have PK's number and they text memes, but Dorit does not have Mauricio's number, which I do think is appropriate. I don't care if my girlfriend and her husband, we have double dates. I think if we're girlfriends, there's no need for you to text my husband on the side. Like there's no need for that. I did think Dorit was inappropriate because asking for your girl's
Husband.
estranged husband's phone number in front of her to talk shit about your estranged husband to me is just weird. But I also think Dorit was trying to stick one at Kyle because Kyle was texting PK.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
thought of that. I do not want, sorry, John. I do not want my husband texting my girlfriends. I don't. It is inappropriate. We can go through each. I wanted to surprise him with tickets to the SC game. I did go on his phone and get a couple of his friends' cells because I was like, guys, I need help. I've never been to an SC game. I don't know what the good seats are. Help me with that. That is totally different. So I kind of give Dorit a little bit of a hall pass in the fact that I didn't think about the fact that, oh, she's slapping Kyle in the face on this one, which you're right, actually, now that I think about it. But I do give her a hall pass because she's trying to make things smoothed over with PK. She wants to find a way where perhaps Mauricio is going to be able to hear something from Dorit and go back and level-headedly talk to PK and say, look, y'all need to work this out. You got to just be friendly. You don't have to be friends. You don't have to love each other, but you got to be friendly for the sake of your children. So I kind of give a hall pass, Carlos, on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, cause you're a good, virtuous Christian woman. So I expect that.
But you don't think that. You're like, that was a total dig. That was a kick you in the face, Kyle. I am sorry. I am going to get your husband's cell phone right now. And, Kyle goes, I love Kyle's answer. You should. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, because Kyle knew. Kyle knew what Dorit was trying to do, and she's like,
Hold on,
look,
Carlos. Go.
no, no, go
All
ahead.
all I was going to say is the one good thing is Dorit's out of Mauricio's age bracket at the moment. So Kyle has nothing to worry about because Mauricio is going for the younger girls. Dorit's like 20 years over his age limit. So Kyle's fine. Nothing to worry about.
Now look, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. But no, I definitely think Dorit was trying to throw shade. But listen, it worked. One thing um that happened in this lunch that made me give Bose a side eye was I really thought Bose was leaning towards having um Amanda's not back because they're not friends, but being on Amanda's side when Bose revealed that she knows what it feels like to lose a baby and how that is a devastating pain that does live on. And I was like, okay, good. Bose can say, like, look, I wasn't there, but you ladies don't know what it's like to lose a child. So if she brought it up and had that pain, I get it. Except she used that example and bookended it with saying that she believes that Amanda used it as a defense. And I thought that was very unfortunate for Bose to say because how can you in one breath say losing a child is the worst pain any mother could experience and then say but she used it as a defense? Because my thing is this, everybody grieves differently. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was inappropriate and sensitive of Bose to say that.
Do you think, I feel like Amanda is getting a harder haze on coming in as the newbie than Rachel Zoe. And I want to ask you, do you think it just dunged on me, ding donged on me, whatever. Do you think it's because Amanda's the only one that has a cohesive glued family and all the other women are broken and going through divorcee and divorcees and they're going through hard times and having all these battles? Because otherwise, what is it that is wrong them all so wrong about Amanda, except that her life is picture perfect right now, which God forbid, who knows in 3 years if she's still on the show, her and her husband are not going through her and Eddie aren't going through a problem. You never know. Life deals a lot of bad apples as well as good apples. So I don't know. I just wonder. I'm like, are they hazing her more? Because that doesn't make any sense that Bose would go and do exactly what you said, which is almost it was almost like a backhanded compliment. It was like, oh, I know what it feels like to lose a kid, but is she using that as a defense mechanism? Like, I don't know. It was all bizarre. And I'm just thinking they're all kind of a little envious of Amanda because her life is in a decent spot with a husband and her family. I don't know.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it is, and that's not it.
Uh, it's because she bought Kyle's house.
No. No, no, that's not it. I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Take me,
And
Carla.
I'm gonna school you in the raindrops. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. The reason why this cast, right, with the exception of Kyle and Kathy and Jennifer Tilly, but Kyle's the main cast, so we will stick with Kyle. Kyle is the only one not hazing Amanda. Um, the reason why there's a difference between the way these ladies are treating Rachel Zoe, who is new, and Amanda, who is new, is only because Rachel Zoe is already famous. Rachel Zoe is very respected in the fashion industry. Rachel Zoe had a 7 year show on Bravo. Rachel Zoe is somebody who you want to network with. And they respect that because in Beverly Hills, it's all about the connections. It's all about the network. I was the first one to call out that the reason why Sutton will never go against Kyle or Kathy Hilton is because at the end of the day, those women run Beverly Hills. Rachel Zoe is a staple in the fashion industry. They will never go against Rachel Zoe and they embrace her with open arms. The reason why they aren't embracing Amanda with open arms is because to them, Amanda isn't respected based on how she got her money. Amanda isn't respected and she's an easy target. She's an easy target because they had to Google her, as Dorit said, oh, she mentioned she was in a cult. And look, as somebody who read Amanda's book, Rich as Fuck, in stores now, she gave you, it wasn't like she was in a like real one, it was her interpretation. But again, there's things that is going on with Rachel Zoe that they're not talking about. If you wanted, my point is this: if you wanted to run down the gamut of Google, there are things about Rachel Zoe that isn't pretty, right? The gross assumptions that people had in terms of the women she styled back in the 2000s, which was my era, right? Because these women were thin and they were saying gross things about Rachel Zoe. These girls would never bring that up because they need Rachel Zoe's connections. Amanda's an easier target. And what I saw at that dinner table, and I love Bose is trying to solidify her position with these girls. And one thing about Beverly Hills that we see in Potomac is they will haze a new girl that they do not respect.
Wow. So is it going to take Amanda a few more people in her Rolodex and a little bit more time in Beverly Hills for them to start respecting her? Is that what you're saying?
No, because if she tells you she has people in the Rolodex, they'll say she's bragging. Do you know what I
So
mean?
what does Amanda do?
Well, that's the thing. I think what Amanda, and again, we're 7 episodes in. I think
Right.
what Amanda is doing is she's trying to find her footing, but Amanda is clocking that, Dorit, you have a hard on me, and I'm gonna give you something to be pleasured with. Like I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to
Wow.
you. And and look, even when Dorit walked into her birthday dinner and Rachel Zoe walked up to hug her, and then she stops her dead in her tracks. And oh my God, I heard about your divorce. You asked everybody on this show for seasons about what they were going through, but with Rachel Zoe, they delicately just handle her because they respect what a self-made woman she is because it's something tangible that they can see. And let's be clear, Dorit needs to be friends with somebody that can give her clothes versus renting them for the scenes. So it's all about the connections, and that's why Amanda has clocked who Dorit is, and Amanda is ready to go after her. And I'm here for it. I love the feud personally.
Wow. I'm gonna have to take a nap after this podcast because my mind is racing after everything you just. I have never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
But you're so right. Again. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm here for it too because guess what? We need a good season. I mean, and it's just now getting there. So let bring it on, girls. Let's go. But I wow. I do think there's a place, maybe it's the optimism in me again, but I do think there's a place where the girls will come around about Amanda if Amanda plays her cards right for the next year or two. I do, because rather it's tangible how she made her money, or she's multi-level, or she's whoever, however, who cares? It's like you got money, you didn't get it illegally with fraud, okay, like Erica Jane's ex-husband. So it's like come on, like she's doing what she knows to do right now. Although I don't understand what the emotional side of money means when she described that in the scene. I'm like, what is the emotional side of money? How are you making money off of telling people the emotion? I went to my handbag and the only dollar I had was a $10 bill because I don't carry cash. And so I looked at it. I'm like, feel the emotion, Lex. Come on. I'm like, girlfriend, I don't get you. I have no emotion in this $10 bill except it'll only buy me a Starbucks. So there you go. I was like, so, but I'm like, okay, if somebody's going to pay you enough money to buy a $12 million home for the emotional side of money, dang, I want some of that.
That is so fun. Well, the thing is that her book, she talks about Buddy Peak energy. But speaking of energy, this was to me the biggest indication of what we sort of touched on earlier, Alexis, which is Kyle and Mauricio's ultimate fate of reconciliation. When Kyle and Mauricio, and again, if the producers did this, shout out to the producers. That was a
Right.
great idea, an amazing idea, producers, if that was you, to have Kyle and Mauricio go to Amanda's house, which was the house she brought from the Umanskis and renovated. And to
Mhm.
see Kyle walk around the house and they flash back to those moments of Kyle living there when her kids were younger and Mauricio, and she got so emotional. I was like, this is Chef's Kiss. It was a perfect scene to display what's going on internally with Kyle. I think when it's all said and done, and I think it's done now, I think Kyle today wants Mauricio back, but I think she knows that he has to do what he has to do. Because even when she told the girls that she felt invisible being around them in Aspen, and when Mauricio saw her crying, and I hate to say this, Mauricio's checked out emotionally.
Still, at this point, yes, I agree with you. And
Yeah.
I did know, I do think, like I said, like you said, I can see the soulmates in them where he is like kind of being like the brother to her at that point. He is checked out right now. But I'm telling you, the shiny new thing always gets old too. So that new diamond you got ain't new forever. That new handbag you got ain't new forever. So all these new girls he's getting, and look at Mauricio. He can have the pick of the litter. We all know this, and you can tell by which paparazzi photos are out there too. It's like he's living his best life, but it all gets old, and there's no substance to what he's doing right now. There's no substance to the life he's living, and he'll miss that because he is a good human, and he did have
Mhm.
something very special and unique with Kyle. You can see it, and like you said, walking through the house was really cool to see all the upgrades and to relive those memories that Mauricio, and trust me, the producers did this for a reason too. They flashed back to all these special moments that Kyle and Mauricio had together of true love, like where they jumped into the white little boat that's in the or floaty that's in the water together, and they're laughing about that, and where he pulls her off, and it's like they have all of these special memories that he's not creating with the people he's with now, and she's not creating with the people she's with now. So I feel like it was just a great scene, and I got tears in my eyes for Kyle. But you're right, because Mauricio was checked out. He didn't get one tear. He didn't even think. He was like, "Oh, you're
He was
sad about it." Mauricio,
confused.
he's like, "I'm on my new. This is my new life. I love my new bachelor pad." So yeah, he is checked out in that, but he still had that love. Like you could still see some kind of when he held her, like some kind of a love that he has for her.
Yeah, no, listen, I think the biggest thing for me is um I think Kyle regrets it. I think to wrap up their emotional journey this episode, I think Kyle regrets it. I think like most people, um, you give it a shot as you should. It's funny. I was talking to one of my girlfriends last year, and she was telling me how um, she just feels disconnected from her husband,
Oh,
and they've been together for a while, have children, like a couple of kids together, but she's like, you know, he did nothing wrong. He's a great father, but there's a disconnect, and she was
did they grow
contemplating whether.
apart? Did they grow apart instead of growing together,
Yeah,
or what
I
do you think?
think. Yeah, I
Okay.
think they're not growing together. I think it's just like she looked at him and said, this guy he's a great person, and he did nothing wrong to me. And on paper, he's what every wife would want, but she said emotionally, they're not. She doesn't feel connected. She feels horrible that she feels this way, and she, in her mind, was contemplating leaving him. And she is like, but how do I leave somebody that did nothing to me? Like, there's nothing tangible for me to say. She's afraid of breaking his heart. And I say all that to say, I think when I look at the Umanskis, I think they both tried to experience something. And I think, unfortunately, this is why it's fucked up, Alexis. I think, unfortunately, Mauricio has a hall pass that is longer than the Empire State Building. And Kyle and I think Kyle's is like, I've
Sorry,
tried it, I'm done, I want to get back together.
1,000,000%. You're absolutely right. And there's nothing wrong with that because they were in this together from the beginning since they were little kids, having kids, kind of, I mean, I know 25, you're supposed to be fully grown up and all that, but I just don't know. I just think you don't really grow up until you're 30. There's just something about your 20s that you're 18 or 19. I'm sorry. My kids think they're adults. I'm like, you ain't a freaking adult. I'm sorry. You are still needing a lot of help. And when you can pay your own bills and you understand taxes and you understand what it's like to live on your own, you can call yourself an adult. But right now you are still my freaking kid. Okay. But
Yes.
anyway, I think Maurice and Kyle were 25. He had a kid already. So he really did start his life young as becoming an adult, right? He
No,
probably had that kid.
Kyle had the kid already. Mauricio did.
Oh, okay. Mauricio adopted the kid. That's right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, they really started young, and didn't get to go live. And that is, Mauricio is happy right now, but it's going to be short lived because of the fact that every diamond, shiny new thing becomes old. It's just the way life works. And hopefully I'm right because I think Kyle is the kindest, most lovely person and deserves to have her husband back. And
Yeah.
only wishing for that for them.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Yes, I love Kyle. I'm always team Kyle. Um, we gotta get to Dorit's party again. Raindrops, I'm sorry. I love Amanda. When Amanda to me is funny because she doesn't, I think at this point she's like, I don't care. I'm gonna be me, whether or not you ladies like it or not. Um, I thought it was hilarious when she is talking about the house that she bought, and she goes, we bought the house. Well, not we, it was my money, so I bought it. Now look. I'm not an Amanda apologist. That was a moment that I was like, Amanda, this is hard for me to defend.
That Carlos, you can't even, there's no way you can even try, no matter what angle you look at it. You cannot defend that. It's like, let me cut his penis just a little shorter. Okay. Like, let me just emasculate him just a tad bit more. I mean, I was cringing and I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor guy, Eddie. I hope that like, how do they watch that scene together and him not be like cringing the whole time? How do you watch that scene with your wife sitting next to you and not be like, that's what you think of me? Okay, girlfriend. Let's see how you are single with, raising all these kids. I'm just, oh, poor Eddie. Well, hopefully Amanda sat back and watched that and goes, okay, I need to learn some things about myself.
Yeah, that part I was like, Amanda, now look, girl, that was bad. That was bad. I'm always honest. That was bad. What are your thoughts on Rachel Zoe? Speaking of, we talked about Colin Mauricio being in a marriage since they were in their 20s. We learned in this episode that Rachel Zoe and her ex have been together since then. And she talks about how she misses the old him. Like she doesn't miss who he is now because she doesn't recognize him, but she misses the old him. And she also admits that there's no prenup.
Well, I mean, Johnny and I didn't sign a prenup, and Jim and I never signed a prenup. So I'm kind of against prenups also, only in the fact that it kind of says I don't believe in this marriage and it's not going to make it. But at the same time, if someone has all the money at the beginning and someone else doesn't, it's kind of like, oh, you've got to kind of take care of yourself. Well, Rachel and her husband, I don't think had a lot when they first got married. They were 33 years ago. It's like they probably built it all together, so they didn't, or they did. Maybe that's a Lizzie question. I don't know. But there's no prenup needed when you build your businesses together and you're married to build it. So I don't know. No, I feel like I have a something to say about Rachel right now. I love her. I love the whole cast. There's one we're doing a podcast, so we have to give our opinions, unfortunately. So sorry, girls,
Yeah.
but love you, Rachel. But I think she's going through the bitter part of her divorce. I don't. She's over it. She can put on a good face and act like she's over it. I think she is bitter and unhappy about the circumstances. And you know, when you go through a divorce, there are several phases. There's the feeling of grief, of there's you've lost a lot. Okay. There's the feeling of anger. There's the feeling of sadness. There's the feeling of bitter, you know, you get a little bit bitter and like, well, you know, I don't know. And then you finally come on the other side. I'm sure there's like six other feelings that go through it all. But I feel like reading her on camera, I just think she's a little bitter.
Yeah, I think what you said. I think going through a divorce is a grieving process too. And I think you like is everything you're saying, right? And listen, you will know way more about that than me, obviously, and a lot of the listeners. So I agree with you based on the experience that it has, especially when it's fresh. And what we saw in the episode was how fresh this was. And I think, look, we're unable to hear his perspective. And
Right.
based on what's happening right now, he hasn't said anything about
Right.
what she has been alleging. And the thing is, it really doesn't paint him in the best light possible. And
But
that
there's always two sides.
yeah, yeah.
You
And that's the part that's like unfortunate because you want to hear his side too, so you can understand what's going on.
Right. And the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. You know, it's probably some of her side, some of his side, and then there's the truth is in the middle.
We now see Dorit and Amanda come face to face finally. Amanda is super cold to Dorit. She gets up to go to the bathroom. Kyle takes that opportunity. It says Amanda isn't there to give a speech because they're celebrating Dorit's birthday. Oh, by the way, this episode is dedicated to Natalie, who is Simon Fuller's, thank you, Raindrops, ex, soon to be ex-wife or ex-wife, whatever, who got a happy ending after a massage. That's the type of shit I want to watch on TV.
It
Those
wasn't
conversations.
sex with him. Happy ending is when it's fellatio. She had a full on sex with him. She admitted it. I can't even. This is like a fantasy thing that is out fantasy world that I cannot believe it really happens. I still don't believe in the massage parlors that give happy endings. I know they're true because I've asked every man I know, but I don't believe. I just in my mind I'm like that's only you only read that in books. You don't. It's not real. Okay. The fact that she had sex with her masseuse who she'd known for 51 minutes of her life is like what the that's like taking the guy home from the bar that just bought you one cocktail and banging him as soon as you get home. I don't understand any of that. That's only stuff you read in a book, Carlos. I'm wow. It's amazing. She sure made a name for her, didn't she, on this
Oh, she
episode?
did. But
Natalie, I gotta come. I wanted to be fast to come up with something like Natalie masseuse sexual.
that or instead of a one night stand, a one Natalie stand, or one Natalie hand,
Oh,
something.
oh, hello. That's so good. Or the master masseuser.
I was gonna say something about the master, but I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, don't go there.
I stopped myself. But
Okay.
Alexis, my
Yes.
point is this is the type of shit I want to watch on television. A woman of means who's walking in with a $990 bag talking about having sex with her masseuse impromptu. Like that's the shit that I'm like
I'm
to
sorry,
win.
but I have a whole nother take to this, Carlos. She is in full on F you, my ex-husband mode because she walks in her first thing she walks in nothing, clad scantily in a lingerie that you would wear, you know, to cook dinner when your husband walks home and sees you with an apron on. And then she then boasts about banging her masseuse that she's known 51 minutes. So I total Fuller from coming straight from his ex-wife, and you know he is cringing. I'm sorry. He's probably like, he's not going, oh, I wish I had her back. He's going, oh my God, run farther and farther away and faster. Like, I don't know. I don't think he's sitting there going, dang, look what I lost. I think she's going through a midlife crisis right now. But I'm here to watch it all spiral on national television. Bring it to me. Yeah.
I love it. 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 I want to see more of Natalie on my screen. I love, love, love what she's bringing already in those few moments.
So do you think she's
We
going to be asked to be a friend of? Do you think she's going to be asked to be a friend of next season?
Well, that's the thing. I want to see more from her. I think it's too early to tell, but what I will say is, I
She's bringing.
listen, the beauty, she's very pretty. The beauty of reality television is you want to see people on these shows, as you know, Alexis, who are saying things that you don't hear in your everyday world and just you want to escape. So to see this beautiful woman who is talking about getting, a happier ending, right? Like I want to watch that. I want to watch that. I don't want to watch women who aren't, you know, oh, nothing happened to me. Like I love Erica Jane, but I'm bored because she's not telling us anything
Oh,
that's going on in her relationship.
I got to interject. Can we give Erica a break? She has just gone through a lot. Like to be married to
I
someone for that
know.
many years and not know what he was doing behind your back with the finances and all that. I'm sorry. Erica's been drugged through the mud. She deserves a season that's kind of like, okay, she's a little boring right now. But they could show one of her performances for us, like even that much of one of her performances, and there you go. She'll bring it for the camera. But like, I just feel like give the girl a moment and she'll bring it next season.
Yes, no, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, what we have to get into is the showdown between Dorit and Amanda that made me
Woo,
giggle.
woo. Can't wait for next season or next episode. Sorry. It said to be continued. I'm like, I love me a cliffhanger. I love the to be.
I love a cliffhanger. So this is what, let me know if you can hear this, Alexa. I'm gonna play for the raindrops. This is what ended the episode in terms of what Dorit, I'm sorry, what Amanda said to Dorit to the point she had to bring out her phone and look it up in the dictionary. So let me know if you can hear it.
Oh, well, that's what I'm learning. Whoa. Accosted. But I need to be able to go to a dinner party without being verbally accosted.
I need to go to a dinner party without being verbally accosted. Give Amanda Francis a diamond for the next 2 seasons because she's not afraid of anybody. And I'm gonna say this too. For the record, I love Dorit on the show. I think Dorit is a fantastic housewife. I love the fact that Alexis, Dorit has somebody to spar with. Because one thing about Dorit Kemsley, Alexis, she backs down to nobody.
Well, I don't really think any of women back down to anyone or any housewife for that matter. I mean, I don't think any of us, I think we got something to say, but you're right. It's time that Dorit has someone to go toe to toe with her. Um, Amanda really doesn't give two F's. For the girl that likes to use F in the title of her book, she really gives two F's about nobody. She is like, I will take you on. And uh, I don't think she was verbally accosted. Okay, let me just tell my 2 cents on that. However, to use the word and to go there is epic. And I think she did secure her diamond for next season with several of her comments this season.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is cooking up, and I am here for it. So this episode is dedicated to the one, the only Natalie's masseuse. There we go.
Woman at that table wanted his number. Erica goes, "Can I have his number, please?" Like I'm gonna fly there just to have him. Yeah, it's just hysterical. Oh my gosh, Carlos, she secured her half diamond for being a friend of next season.
Right.
She got it.
Natalie
She got
did.
a cubic. She secured her cubic zirconia. An effort.
Alexa, I love that. Natalie, you secure your Cuban zirconia. We are hoping that it will one day turn into a diamond. But no, great episode. I'm so happy this show is finally cooking for us, Alexis. And Raindrops, we will see you guys next week to recap another episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Alexis, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.